Hi, my name is Santiago Sainz, and today I'm going to talk about why it's important to use valuable sources when studying history. For example, what I've learned about my identity, how the past shapes who we are, basically. So, our past experiences, basically, all the things we're making through these types of, from our life mostly. When we study history, it's really important to use reliable sources, things like books, articles, and interviews, because they help us understand the past more accurately. For example, we use lots of structures like the Roman Colosseum, these types of things that can help us understand how they lived before or how people lived before. For example, they help us understand the past more because, well, the type of source, its purpose, and and its reliability will affect the way we see historical events. For example, personal diaries or letters give us insight into someone's feelings and experiences, but they might not show the bigger picture of the full story of an event. That's why it's important to cross-check sources and look at different perspectives. And by comparing these sources, we can get a better, more complete view of what actually happened. This activity made me think a lot about my own identity and how I connect to history. I realized that my understanding of the past is influenced by my own experience and background. For example, within my own experiences, it shapes me and my taste for different arts, for example, like music, movies, and more. I usually connect to more abstract themes or complex things. For example, I like a lot the music of really good music bands, for example, Pink Floyd, these types of things that are more complex or not intellectual, but way harder to understand, or the cinema of David Lynch, which is my favorite director, Stanley Kubrick. Also, I think that things like the stories I've heard from my family and the culture I grew up in, these things shape the way I see historical events. For example, I come from a background in which my family has had presidents in our lineage, Carlos Salinas de Gortari more specifically. So yeah, it has helped me. It was also interesting to hear how my classmates connect with history in different ways, mostly my partner Max, and how we all interpret history through our own lenses, and it showed me how diverse our perspectives can be even on the same event. The past is a big part of our identity. For me, my family's traditions and the history I've learned in school play a role in shaping who I am. And learning about history helps me understand where I come from and why certain things are important to me. The same goes for everyone. Our personal histories and the way we connect to the past help us make sense of our present lives. So understanding history is not just about the facts. It's also about understanding who we are, ourselves, and the world around us. By using these reliable sources, we can get a more accurate and fuller picture of the past, and that helps us learn more about who we are. Thank you for listening.